So, welcome to our next episode. We're now going to talk about jumping back on our Mosler and Evora and trying to get those ready for the race season. But we'd been waiting on some big parts for the Evora, and a lot of those were starting to drip in and turn up.
That was the big turning point. So it was like,
let's go and push and bully and force our way into other people, say, where are these parts? And it all came together, or started to come together, where we're like, we might actually get the Evora out this season now. Everything's turning up and it's falling in. And that's where strategically we all made the decision, because the next round was going to be the next round was going to be Oulton Park.
Yep.
And Oulton Park is a one-day event on the Saturday. We've got a test day and just a Saturday-only race. So it was whether we rushed it, and I remember us all having this conversation in the workshops, do we rush the car and try get it out for the one-day race? Or do we take stock now? We knew we had a good break from Oulton to Silverstone, as it would have been the next race. Should we build the car over that time, make sure it's built well, properly put together, get some test sessions in, as it was, and finish the Evora, and let's get out with the Evora. And that's what we did. We decided all hands to the pump.
This is all around the same time as we were literally elbows deep in the Mosler, in our Mosler at this point, weren't we? We'd got the engine in, and we were at the tipping point of finding the issues with the electronics of the Mosler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only what we'd found from where it had been stored, but also the loom, the wiring, and we had to essentially bodge the dyno loom together to even get the engine to run.
To make sure the engine was okay. Yeah.
But then obviously, like you say, it was do we do Oulton? Do we rush the Mosler? Do we get onto the Evora? And
So because obviously those who may not know much about us, most of our students, or pretty much all of our students, work in the industry. So during the week, it's very difficult to get hands on here, get students down here to help us out. So it's always the weekends they come to, or tend to come to. So it ended up us three with some very, very late nights. And
mornings.
When I say late nights, some nights don't exist because it was one day rolled into the next day and into another day.
Definitely was.
Just trying to get the car ready, and also the day job of actually teaching some students and the managing of the courses and everything else we have to do. So it was a heavy 4 or 5 week time frame. I think and you can all add in and jump in here, but I think by the point we got the final parts we needed for the Evora, although we'd started building some of it, having some late nights each week, we ended up with a 2-week window almost of this now needs to be ready to hit a test day and then get to Silverstone.
Yep.
Yes.
So we got the car ready. We'd done all these hours. Great. You two guys went to the airfield, and then I joined you the day after at Donington.
Yep.
For which turned out to be a very successful test. So
the
first part at the airfield, how did that go?
That was great.
Yeah, it was it's somewhere I'd not been before, actually, that airfield.
I hadn't been there.
So
no.
It was a new environment to us, and actually it's a really useful resource, a really good place to take the car. Set up, I turned up in the truck, you'd got the truck set up, the car was on its way out. We had good comms with the radio tower, watching, obviously, planes coming in and out as well, so it's an active runway. And the car, generally, we were there just to shake it, literally shake it down, shake bits off, make things
and it did,
come
didn't it?
loose.
It just went up and down, and down.
Yeah.
And I think the really cool thing about that was the planes going in between, so you're in constant comms with you've got your radio, and you'll get a message across the radio, right, you bring him in after this lap, we've got a plane landing.
Okay,
and you do, and you've got to, we had a system, because we didn't have radios or anything, so we had a little system there. Every time the driver came down, we'd signal him if it was time to come in, and it worked perfectly, didn't it? And planes were taking off and going, and it was great. Funny story from up in the control tower, of course, when I first turned up, was went up into the control tower, key code to get in, full security job. You're in there, there's some screens. It's a small airfield, so it's not like Gatwick. You've got the screens there and everything's laid out in the charts, and he knows what flights are going day in, day out. Running through all these rules. And I mean, when you turned up, I went a bit Garrity because you crossed the yellow line, which I'd been told...
Ed likes planes, doesn't he?
I had been told specifically, it had been drilled home do not cross that line when the airfield's active. If you cross there, you're going home. We don't care. That's that. And of course, you turn up in your Mustang,
finding the only place that looked like a sensible place to park in front of our truck,
which did
away
make
from
sense,
the race car,
and did his turn across and over the yellow line, with me running after him. No.
I just thought he was pleased to see me.
Yeah.
He's going, he's waving at my car.
So
up in the control tower, and the chaps give me all these rules and running through everything. It's all very, very official, everything like that. So, right, okay, when I have the radio and I have to radio through, what do you want me to do? Is it NMA to control tower, or, what do you want me to do? And he went, just go, hi, Bob. I've changed the name to protect the...
pretend the innocent.
I was like, that's it. He went, well, I'm the only one up here, so yeah.
You don't have a tail number, so...
And now all of a sudden it's gone from super efficient to absolutely relaxed. But yeah, he was a great guy. Everyone at the airfield was brilliant, to be fair.
It was really good. Really good.
It was a great day. But
a good place to go as a shakedown, as a car.
There's plenty of length to the tarmac strip, and plenty of turning space, and it was just up and down, wasn't it? And it was great. He could get a feel for the car, come in, let's have a little look at this, let's check that, and you back out. And how it differed, and we were both saying in a really good way, weren't we, how it differed from a normal test session, a circuit. You're bound by the timings of when you can and can't go out, aren't you? There he could just come in and stop for a minute. Oh, let's have a look, should we check this, should we check that? ABS, we linked in.
Yeah, managed to get that set up and working thanks to one of the students.
You please take the floor on that one, because that was a great.
It was a little bit of an effort. Yeah, we had to try and reach out to try and find a way to get the ABS to communicate on that car, because it didn't want to play with our laptop, did it?
Because of the Windows 10 and 11 laptops won't connect to the dongle for the old ABS system.
Yeah,
of course.
And so luckily, we managed to get into the system through one of the students. Actually saved us in that instance, and allowed us to get into the package so that we could get the system set up ready so that we could bleed it, which we were going to do at Donington the next day. The only other thing that I was concerned with most of the time, I'm always concerned with this when the car's out, is that new aero package, because other than the initial run in 2022, that was the first time that somebody had driven the car with the front end redesigned, and I still didn't know in the real world whether what I'd designed would actually do its job. So to see it on the track and know that the brakes are cooling, the car's staying on the ground, it's not taking off. That was always something I've always been keeping an eye on through all of these sessions as well.
The next day was to Donington, where we all turned up for a real proper test of the car. Almost, let's put it through a race distance, race temperatures, push the car hard, and almost get a list of what do we need to work on before Silverstone. I think at that point we had maybe a week and a half left before Silverstone now. And it was actually, I remember coming away from that test with a bit of a list. Nothing major, just things we wanted to check and oversee and tweak. But actually quite successful for its first real race distance and pace in anger. I think we're all at that point, apart from some setup dialing in.
Yeah.
And by this point, we've brought a new driver in. So Jay Shepherd's now come. The Shorts have gone back with their Mosler, and they're going to carry on with the Mosler. And we've brought Jay Shepherd in. So we're trying to dial a car in and dial a driver into that car and get him used to the car. Just some time under his belt, really. So I think we left there quite happy with the Donington test, just knowing a bit more time in the car for Jay and allow us to set the car up that almost suits his preferences, but settings we know work, and get his confidence in those settings. We were quietly confident when our season started off that we thought for our cars was going to be a disaster and we're not going to do anything. We left there
feeling good,
and ready for Silverstone, really.
Well,
and then the start of our season, really, taking a full group of students, going to Silverstone. It's going to be a full weekend with all the students there, our cars again, and I think the mood was quite upbeat there.
It was great.
And for our next episode, we're going to pick up as we start what we'll call our season from Silverstone onwards.